Contenders. Last week on Contenders with Lush. It was all about personality at the Lush preliminaries for Contenders. 8 were chosen to take the stage. The first test of survival. The competition was fierce. Contestants struggled to keep up with the fast-paced quiz. Until Tae Moon-hee decided to jump out in front of the pack.
How did you know that was Palmer?
You just broke the record for the highest points at Contenders. Congratulations.
After
TJ,
round
you were really
2,
worried that-
5 were safe to continue to the next week.
The old man
The
drank
lowest
his
score holders
blank
battled for the last remaining spot. And
Are you sure about your answer?
the
That is
last
correct.
spot went to
Congratulations.
Seung-suk. It's time for Contenders.
Hello and welcome to Contenders. I'm Min-jung Kim. We had a unique first week with our Lush contenders who are very colorful in every sense of the word. They were asked to dress to express themselves, and we had everything from a green halter top, a yellow handmade dress, right down to a tracksuit. How much more diverse can you get?
Yes, I remember the green tights.
Yes,
Oh,
I
those
remember
were
those
cute.
too.
Dressed to impress and express even. That's one thing I love about Lush. It'll be interesting too about with these contenders, because they were dressed like that, the way they're dressed today, how their personalities may change. So we'll be interested to see.
Just out of curiosity, if you were asked to dress to express yourself, what would your choice be, TJ?
Maybe a Speedo.
Ah.
No, just kidding, just kidding. Probably just shorts and a t-shirt, you know.
All right. Well, time now to meet the contenders. Contenders, come on out.
Welcome, contenders. You are again successful because you've made it to the final 6. Welcome back. I know that now, once again, we just talked about it. Your dress is a little bit different. And so I see that their 표정, what's a 표정? Their expressions are a little bit more calm than they were before. Jung-han, I have a question.
Okay.
In your resume, you talk about being creative. What's one of the most creative things that you've done?
Well, creative things. Well, I think creativity is nothing until it comes out. So what I want to talk about is when I was in middle school and high school, I was not supposed to wear earrings and jeans. And I'm pretty sure that my colleagues, they wanted to try some, but no one stood out. But I was the one who stood out. Well, my teachers didn't like me, but I did change the rule. And that's the creativity and the courage to carry out.
Okay.
Last week, he looked a little like Park Ji-sung because he was wearing a white T-shirt and a pair of jeans. And today, I don't know if I can say that about you.
So what do I look like now?
You look Park Ji-sung with a suit and a little bigger
All
hair.
right.
Still the same.
That's good. That's
All right,
good.
Mooney, you have a very unique last name. Any interesting story regarding your last name?
I don't know if it's interesting, but my ancestor, he's actually very famous. He was King Taejoyoung. And then when the Parhae dynasty it collapsed down, I guess, he actually changed the last name by, I guess not him, but the family changed the last name by adding a dot on it. So it became Tae. Because when you actually look at the Chinese letter, Tae is like this, and you just put a point in the middle, and it becomes Tae.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
Hyun-kyung. Yes. I love that you came here. You didn't meet quite all the qualifications because of your age and graduating from college, but you're here. I love that about you. What strength do you bring being the youngest candidate here?
Being the youngest and somewhat also inexperienced, I think I could come up with new ideas that have not been presented before. So, and because I don't know, I haven't faced great failure yet, I'm not afraid to try something new, something crazy even. So that drive and creativity, I think that it can bring out very positive effects.
Uh-huh.
And Jaehyun, you look very cool and composed all the time. Is that a fair observation of you?
Well, I guess it's a born cool.
All right.
Kim Hee. Yes. You are one of the most outspoken contenders that I've seen.
Really?
Yes, and that's a good thing.
Okay.
But I do have a question. I understand that you actually did part-time work in Canada for Lush.
Yes.
Can you tell us, did you enjoy that experience and why? I knew you enjoy it because you're here again, but how did you enjoy that?
It was one of the most exciting work I've ever had in my life. Lush people are happy people and they sell happy products that make people happy. And so we got to play a lot of games to interact with a lot of customers in a different way than the normal products or L'Oreal or certain other kinds of cosmetic brands, such as meeting up with, coming up with the games to play. Like, so there was a survival game where the last contender had to eat one of the products to promote that this is a safe product on human, even by digesting. Or we got to watch the dogs outside in the summertime to promote the safety of our products. So that was the most exciting work I've ever had.
Great.
And Seung-seok, I asked you last week during a break if you're nervous, and you firmly denied being nervous. What makes you nervous then?
Camera.
All right, so you're being honest.
You are in the wrong place.
All right, welcome back, all of you. This is the second week, and that means things will get a little tougher. And for one, you have a panel of judges to impress. I'll start with Dr. Kim Byung-ju from Kim Lee & Partners, also an adjunct professor of international studies in Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. Welcome. Professor Lee Moon-gyu from the School of Business from Yonsei University. Ms. Kim Mi-hyun, the sales director from Lush Korea. Welcome to the program. And last but not least, Ms. Chung Eun-im, the marketing communications manager from Lush Korea. Welcome, all of
you. Ms. Mi-hyun, I have to say, I think you were at the recruiting party, wearing the dark glasses and the dark colors. Is that correct?
Yes, that was me.
That's great. I remember that from the video. I do have a question. Very unique way to interview candidates and find out a little bit more about them. What can we tell our contenders today what you're looking for? What do they need to show you to impress Lush?
Absolute positivity would be it. So, I mean, everyone nowadays can claim that they're creative. We want, of course, a creative person, but who's also positive enough to care for the others. So that'll be it.
Well, I have a question. You two are both beautiful ladies. Sorry, gentlemen. The ladies are just more beautiful. Do you think that's due to Lush?
Well, using Lush products definitely helps. But the most dominating reason for this glow would be the positive energy we get from Lush happy people. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Kim, do you have any tips on how these contenders should go about tackling the debate?
Because this is a debate, just simple and straightforward points. Number one, you gotta make sense when you make your own points. And number two, you gotta show that you have the drive to be a winner. And number three, you have to be to the point when you deliver your points. And lastly, you have to be nimble about the ideas that you're presenting in countering the criticisms and countering other parties' points.
All right. We'll begin the debates. Today's topic is city, animals, and the environment. Let's take a look in detail.
In the central U.S. last May, heavy downpour raised the levels of the Mississippi River. There was anguished deliberation on opening the floodgates to divert the deluge. If the floodgates are not open, a highly populated industrial city with refineries would become immersed. If they are open, farms and natural habitats would become engulfed. The former choice results in the sacrifice and evacuation of 2 million people in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Oil refineries, responsible for 13% of U.S. production, would become waterlogged, a detrimental blow to the economy. The latter results in the destruction of wildlife habitats spanning 12,000 square kilometers, along with flooding of farmlands, home to 25,000 people. The Louisiana Dilemma. Refinery City. Population 2 million. Or wildlife habitat and farmlands. Population 0.5 million.
Now, this is in reference to the flood that took place in New Orleans, Louisiana last May, and the contenders are being asked to choose the location to save, correct?
Right. This is a really tough one because, I mean, you're kind of a bad guy either way, you know, and so it's going to be interesting to see what comes out in this debate.
And 2 hours before the show, we gave the contenders the topic, and they were asked to divide themselves into two groups. Let's take a look at how that was done.
The Mississippi Deluge and the Louisiana Dilemma. Refinery City, population 2 million versus wildlife habitat and farmlands, population 0.5 million.
The topic seemed to catch them off guard, and the dressing room filled with anxious
Either we
laughter.
submerge the city, or we submerge the wildlife, or the farmland.
Okay.
난 정했어. 넌 정했어. 사람을 살리고 와일드라이프를 죽인다.
저도 city. 저는 wildlife.
I'll choose the wildlife over city because I think the wildlife will take longer to rebuild or to put in an initial state.
I'm gonna go for wildlife.
Well, I think we need to save the city.
I'll go for city because there are more risks, you know, if you think of the city.
I chose city because I think there's more risk when it comes to flooding the city versus the wildlife.
Research wasn't easy, and time was running out. Teamwork was key, and the group started throwing ideas around. Teammates discussed their perspective viewpoints and continuously checked their facts online. Kim Hee was flipping busily through a book, and we were curious to see what the book was about.
디베이트 베이스북이라고 저번에 보니까 약간 이쪽 책에서 많이 나오는 게 와서 갖고 왔는데 커런 이벤트여갖고 지금 조금 내가 많이 머리는 썼는데 머리 쓴 게 안 되고 있어서 지금 이거 related topic 한 게 뭐가 있나 지금 다시 찾아보고 있는 중이에요. environment에 관해서.
Welcome to the Contenders debate. This will be very interesting. We have one side on my right will be arguing for the refinery side. Why to save the businesses? Why to save that part of it? Let the farmlands go to underwater. And then on this side we have the habitat. Let's save the wildlife. Let's save this side and let the businesses figure it out. And so we will have an interesting debate here.
Contenders, try to remember that you will be evaluated individually and ranked from first to sixth place according to your performance, and it is in that order that you will get to choose your presentation topics. So do your best. PJ, fire away.
Great. We will start with the refinery side's opening statements. Kim Hee?
After the risk assessment that the MI members have done, we argue that submerging the wildlife habitat and farmland is much more of an effective choice than to submerge the entire city with a population of 2 million people. First, there is a health issue that people have to go through. Second, there will be economic consequences carried by submerging the city. And third, there will be an environmental impact if the cities were supposed to be submerged.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll have the saving humanity over here. Sung-Suk?
Thank you, PJ. Good afternoon. Human beings have been using the nature and environment, sacrificing the nature for the sake of humans. And I think submerging the farmlands and the minority groups of people who are living in the farmlands, which is another case of sacrificing the nature and the minority. It's called a slippery slope phenomenon, which means that if you start to fall, you're gonna fall again and again and again. My point is that if you allow this to happen again and again, then it's never gonna change. And Lush is a company that's trying to stop it also, yes.
Although your point is interesting, I think it's a little bit offbeat, like it's a little bit different from the matter at hand now, because we're talking about this flood that, this hurricane that is happening now. Like this instance, we need to make a decision right now. And what you're missing out is that we have refinery systems in the cities. And do you know what kind of, bad impacts that they're going to bring to the environment? Plus, there is a river that connects the cities and the farmlands and the habitats that you're talking about. So if something happens in the city, if something happens to the refinery systems, plus the nuclear power plants that are near New Orleans, then it's going to impact, it's going to change the systems in different habitats in the neighboring cities anyways.
I guess that's what you were saying just now about the refineries going bad if a flood happens, but what about the effect by flooding the wildlife? I mean, flooding the forest, flooding the farmland, what's going to happen then to the ecosystem? I mean,
okay, do you know what the refinery system itself, no matter like whether there's a flood, whether it's dry, it is actually very controversial and it has a lot of environmental effects, such as, it has very high level of toxic. It has ammonia and sulfides and hydrocarbons, which can be lethal to a lot of species. So if the refinery systems break, then anyways, it's going to affect other places as well, because there's a river, Mississippi River, that'll connect all the city.
So her side is saying not only will it affect the environment in the city, it will affect broad of the environment.
Because tsunami jumped over the city, there was no time to prevent that happening. But even though this is, emergency, we've got, a few days or, a few weeks, but it will be different to have that short time. So, I mean, this is a man-made city. So we're supposed to know the way to minimize the problems. And, when it comes to nature, only 13% of species are reported. It means rest of 80% percentage of species are not reported. So when you think about the effect it could possibly bring in the future, I think there's no comparison.
Just letting you guys know that we base this assessment by how much of a risk will it bring city versus the farmland. And the risk that we think on the environmental issue is that by submerging the city with the nuclear power plants and the refinery system that's highly toxic, can bring in a water contamination that could last for a long period of time. Submerging a natural habitat can be regrown by itself by the nature, but how are we going to get rid of the waste that's been caused by submerging the entire city? And that's the risk assessment that we have on our argument. Thank you.
According to Convention on Biological Diversity held in 2000 in Kenya, 40% of global economy is reliant on biological diversity. If you want to talk about the one aspect it could bring, how about this aspect? Whole 40% of global economy is reliant on the nature, basically, diversity of biological, living creature. It means just nature, right?
So do you think that the whole percentage is concentrated on this area near New Orleans? I don't think so.
Jung-hun, I'd like to hear from you.
Well, okay. If we flood the city, okay, what's going to happen is we're going to lose 13% of the oil supply. We all know the U.S. is the third largest largest country that provides oil. It's going to cause an oil crisis. And second, if we lose 2 million people, how are you going to explain that? Like human resource is the main part of economic growth. We're going to lose that too. And also, it's going to cost a lot. It's going to cause a direct cost to recover from the oil pollution, and the opportunity cost from not utilizing the land will be tremendous. How are we going to pay this off? Our next generation is going to pay for this. Are you ready for this?
Yes, there is a lot of economic impact from flooding the oil refineries and nuclear power plants. But however, on the other hand, by flooding the farmlands, all the corns and rice, all the crops that are being imported into Korea, and also into other countries, the price went up already from the news. So you cannot just say just by saving the power plants or the oil industry doesn't mean that you're actually saving the economy, because it also affects the other side.
The point you're misunderstanding is we are not just saving the power plants or the refineries. We are saving people, by preventing the impacts that these power plants and the refineries will bring. And it's not just the flood happens and the refineries will be attacked, but in 2005 when Hurricane Katrina happened, oil tanks in Louisiana were knocked off and there were a lot of leakages and there were fires everywhere because the oil lands were burning because of the spread of the oil, and they could not,
It's not the way that you're thinking, because if you drown, if the water goes to the refinery, it doesn't mean it actually goes to the farmland, because they diverse the way of the flood flowing to the city into the farmland. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you let the city, go through the flood, doesn't mean the refinery is actually going to affect the farmlands.
If you thought about the water contamination, because after
yes,
the
I have
water
to.
is submerged, after the city is submerged by the water, there's a possibility of having these chemicals leaked into underground water sources, which means it's going to get carried all the way to the river, which can contaminate all over United States. And we're worried about that one chance. We can say that these power plants can be safe, but we can never guarantee the lives of others by just thinking that, there's a chance.
I also don't want to underestimate the contamination of water, but by the time it gets around that much, I would think the amount of radiation would be diluted enough that it won't be harmful to humans. Even with Japan, there was a big fuss about the radiation levels, but then eventually, even though after going across the Pacific and coming back to Korea, it did come back. The radiation particles came back, but it was so minute that it was a minor health issue. So that's why there's not much news about it anymore.
For this instance, it looks like a minor issue, but actually when you look at Chernobyl, how were they able to detect it from Norway or Sweden, And then still now, people have, hard time. People are, some people, picky people, do not eat beef or, anything related to broth or, or red beets or red vegetables, because that red color is supposed to absorb a lot of nuclear energy, right? If it still affects a lot of people after 10 or 20 years that happens, you cannot actually look at this incidence now and then it's for this instance, it doesn't look like a major health issue, so it should be okay. It is not. It stays forever, and if you just look at the Ukraine issue, then you'll understand.
What about people who eat red meat? Do they also get radiation poisoning? I don't think that's the case here.
Let me talk about the health issues now. According to WHO, flood increases the waterborne disease such as cholera and also vector-borne disease such as malaria and West Nile fever. Moreover, not just the physical health of the people is at risk, this can also include the mental health of the people. By evacuating people, yes, it sounds easy. 2 million people, let's just go outside of the city and we'll be all safe because city only itself will be submerged. But during that process, waterborne disease could lead into creating an epidemic in United States. Moreover, the mental health of the people, the loss of their houses, the loved ones, and also their homes and their infrastructures they're so used to in their environment, the loss of it would cause them to have some kind of a traumatic mental effect. Like in Fukushima after the tsunami incident, the rate of suicidal rate went skyrocketed because of their feeling of loss. And how would you solve that kind of a problem by submerging the city?
Okay, we'll let this side respond to that, and then we'll have our closing arguments. Go ahead.
Many people lose their homes, right? Well, how do you feel if you're told to move out of your home because you have to save the big city? Actually, 25,000 people in this area, in the natural area, had to move out, leave their homes, leave their land, their everything, for the sake of the big city, right? So again, what we are doing right now is we're being selfish for our convenience. We're just making points to actually excuse ourselves for not being affected by it, but let others be affected by it,
Okay. If you can go ahead and give your closing arguments.
Okay, so because of the financial issues, economic issues, and health issues, and my point was environmental issue, looking at the big picture, I think it is strongly believed that it is more a viable option to submerge the habitats and the farmlands instead of the city.
Thank you. And Hyungyung?
Right. So after assessing all the points, we still do not believe that it'll be more efficient to sink the farmland than the city. Even though we understand that there will be big traumatic effect to the people in the city, when we drown the farmland, there will be long-term effect on indirect effect to people. And those long-term effect, it won't be just one generation long, but several generations for the forest to build up again, for the cattle to settle again. And we cannot compensate for the species that goes extinct due to the flood. So even though we can rebuild the city, we cannot rebuild nature.
You know, I think this has been a great debate. There are great points brought out on both sides, and what has been a little passionate, and we've enjoyed that.
All right, let's give our contenders a big round of applause. All right, the judges will now deliberate and will announce the ranking in just a moment.
열심히는 했는데 조금 격앙되지 않았나. 공대다 보니까 리파이너리 이쪽으로는 좀 그러니까 건방지게 들릴 줄 몰라도 제가 그래도 조금은 더 알지 않을까 해서.
등수는 솔직히 진심으로 그렇게 크게 잘 생각도 안 나고 잘 모르겠네요.
디스커션을 나미네이트 할 수.
자신감이 너무 돋보여서
짧게 했지만 제가 꼭 해야 될 말을 했습니다.
재밌었는데 잘했는지 모르겠어요.
자신이 없네요. 봐야지 알 것 같아요.
Our judges had some difficult decisions to make, but they've reached the verdict, and the ranking will be shown on the screen. Please show us the ranking. All right, the first place goes to Taemun-hee, the second place, Kim-hee. Han Seok takes the third place, Kwak Jae-yeon, the fourth, Oh Hyung-kyung, the fifth, and the sixth place goes to Kim Jung-hun. All right. Well, for those of you in the lower ranks, you will have a chance to redeem yourselves in the presentation round. Let's get started. In the presentation round, contenders with the same topic will be paired off as a team, and these are the keywords. The keywords are 5, 17, and 45.
Contenders are to make their selection in the order which they were ranked during the debate. Taemun-hee chooses 45. Kim-hee takes 17. Han Seok chooses 5. Kwak Jae-yeon also picks 5. Oh Hyun-kyung takes 17. And Kim Jung-hun is left with 45. What do these mysterious numbers represent? They only have 30 minutes to prepare.
써는 거랑 플레이.
중요한 거는
게임은 라이브 파스.
In just a moment, join us as the contenders lay out their presentations.
We gave the contenders half an hour to prepare for the presentations, and now they're back. Hyung-kyung, do you feel like you had enough time?
Enough time for brainstorming, but not quite for fully developing as much as we would like to. Yeah.
Right. Well, you're the closest to being 17. You're the youngest contender on our show. So I expect a lot from you, all right?
Right.
Seung-suk, did you pick the right partner?
yes, I did.
Why?
She's good at drawings. Talented.
Jaehyun, would you say the same thing? Did you pick the right partner?
He doesn't know how to draw, so maybe bad. No, he was actually perfect.
Great.
All right, we'll begin with team number 5.
Thank you very much for all the audience and judges to be here for my presentation. Me and Singsak, my partner Singsak. Our target audience is age around 5. They're little kids. So our point that we wanted to strongly make was to make them enjoy the bedding time and let it, make it playful. So our slogan is, you ready? Lush Monsters. So, yes. This is bath bomb plus something else. When you get the bath bomb, you will get other products that you clean your body. So, this works as bath bomb. When you put this bath bomb look like thing in the water, it would dissolve and, make the water more, soft and with all the good essential oil that Lush use, pure and all natural. And when it dissolves, you're going to find something else, these little monsters. And this is a soap kind of thing, but you're supposed to use it at once. So you can crush it in your hand and you can clean whether it will be your hair, it will be your body, it's all natural products, so it doesn't wear. It doesn't matter where you use it. So you can use it as, cleanser. So, and that is our slogan and our main product. And Singsa will be explaining about our selling points and marketing strategy. Please welcome Singsa.
So, how are we gonna sell this? Let's see. By using VVIP marketing, we're gonna tell our customers that your children is the best, and your children is important. So you have to use Lush, which is made from natural materials. And also, we're gonna use SNS like Twitter or Facebook. And also, we are gonna use blogging and online to present online through the web to let other people who haven't tried or who didn't get the chance to see the Lush monsters, to let them know that there's such thing as Lush monsters, that they exist. Next thing we're gonna do is a party. So we're gonna invite parents or children, their friends, and we're gonna throw parties, and they're gonna make their own bath bombs with the materials that are provided, which are, of course, environmentally friendly. Yes, that's about it.
So, wash kids with Lush.
Thank you.
Well, I definitely like the little dance that they did at the end. Judges, what did you think?
VVIP marketing is a good way, right, to sort of position our brand to a certain group of people who could afford to spend. Do you really think Lush is in that category?
That was the problem I had, because the strategy I had to come up with, and it was actually more localized to Seoul and Korea. It wasn't actually meant to be throughout the globe. But I was focused on more Korean market, and also, well, our slogan, Lush Monsters, I couldn't really come up with anything that, I'm being honest, I couldn't come up with anything better than selling to parents and telling them that their kids are special and they deserve to be washed with better soap. So that was my point, but...
Thank you.
Right, very sharp questions from Director Kim. Let's hear from team number 17.
Wow. Our target audience is around 17-year-old teenagers. I think we've got a perfect audience target group right there. How many of you guys are around 17 or near 17? Raise your hand. Right. I'm not a child, not yet an adult. I got this slogan from back when I was your age, Britney Spears' song, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. Because I know it's kind of in an awkward age where we want to grow up, but we're not just there yet because your parents are kind of telling you guys, oh, you can't use the shaving cream because it's going to sting your face. Oh, you can't put on your makeup because it's going to, I don't know, clog your pores and have ugly pimples coming out. But I can assure you guys, Lush is safe, Lush protects the environment, and Lush is fun. And I will show you the product lines as to how these categories will be fulfilled by that. Next slide, please. So we decided to have a gift boxes for Sweet 17 when you're that awkward age. So let's see, I'm a man. In Lush, we have a shaving cream line called Prince. It's made out of shea butter and cocoa butter, so it's very soft on your skin. Next, we have a deodorant line. There is Mr. T powder. It's made out of baking soda, which is not going to clog your pores, but keep that stinky smell out from your body. And next, we have hair wax. And also, we have shower jelly made out of seaweed that can be jiggling in your shower. You can freeze them in the freezer in the summertime just to have fun. And it smells great. It's going to wake you right up in the morning. And that's fun. Next, I'm a woman. Color supplements made out of soy oil, rice bran, so it's not going to clog your pores, and these colors are used with the edible colors. Next, lip tints made out of shea butter and cocoa butter again. It's got edible colors in it. You can use it on your lips as well as on your cheeks as well. Next, we have solid perfumes, and next we also have a shower jelly for your fun morning routines.
Thank you for the great explanations. All right, so our tactic is guerrilla performance. Near Lush stores or right in front of stores, two actors, preferably the sales associates from Lush and young women, I hope. And now those two start arguing. Of course, those are acting. But then, so they go on about, well, if you want to be a woman, you have to start with foundation. No, you start with lip color, that kind of argument. So that causes a commotion. So now when the crowd gathers, those two actors, one of them will say, well, hang on then. And then they pick a student out from the crowd randomly. And then, what do you think? And then, whether she answers or not, you take her to the booth, the makeover booth, and give her a makeover. Right, so this is our strategy for selling the Sweet 17 box. Thank you.
Great job, guys. PJ, I looked over to the audience and they went from being a little sleepy to being completely fixated on the presentations. That means that was good.
That was, I saw the same thing, especially the 15, 16, 17-year-old. Ooh, okay, yeah, I want to do that. I like the way she was pointing her finger.
Judges, tell us your thoughts.
I have a question. If I were you, I would choose the product that I could sell over time, repeatedly, rather than a product that sort of could be influenced by a preference. You know what I mean? If you sell someone a lip tint and it doesn't really, or if it's not in fashion anymore, if the color is not in fashion anymore, then it's going to end up being just a one-time sales. Whereas if you sell something like a facial soap or cleanser, and we also have a shower gel that helps you control PMS. Wouldn't that be more appealing to the teenagers?
Do you want to go back or should I go? I was going after how Lush products are safe. I started using maybe facial cleansers, the toner, and the moisturizer, the whole three-step, maybe after high school. But even before then, I was very interested in putting makeup on my face because that kind of makes you look really pretty. But other brands, other competitive brands might have something that might clog your pores, or my mom would always say, no, that's not good, it's all chemical. But then Lush product gives us safety. It's not going to give any kids troubled skin unless you're allergic to one of the ingredients in it. So maybe by promoting that, it would attract more people and it will sustain the sales throughout to the end.
I really like your answer, thank you. But do you have anything to add, Hyun-kyung?
Not top of my head, no.
You know, PJ, she told us during the break that her nickname was Dragon. Now I can see why.
You know what, Minjung? I'm really excited about this next group because in about 20 years, I might be part of this 45-year-old group.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really excited. So
right.
why don't we hear next from the 45-year-old group?
Hi everyone, it's a great pleasure to have a presentation here. And my name is Moon Tae, and my partner's name is
Jonghan Kim.
Yeah, and today our topic is, our target group is age 45 and the gender is men. So we're going to target 45 years old men, right? So our slogan is be the real prince. And not the Prince Charming, but the real prince is Shrek. First of all, I'd like to remind everyone that even if you're 40 years old, 50 years old, you're still men, you're still handsome, you're still Prince Charming to everyone. And secondly, why Shrek? Well, why Shrek? First of all, he's eco-friendly because he lives in a forest, right? And he likes mud, he eats worm, so he's not vegetarian, but eco-friendly. Secondly, he's green, so I think it really suits the Lush logo, green and yellow. And third, he knows how to have fun.
Well, Professor, so what's the best thing that has happened in your life? Your wife is watching?
Oh, my wife is watching.
Yes,
then
definitely.
getting married with my wife for sure.
All right, that sounds great. Okay, doctor, so is your wife still a princess to you?
Well, I need some time to think. Just joking. Of course
Alright.
she is.
All right, see that? Not every woman stays the way they used to be. They once was a princess. They once as beautiful as what? Flowers. And then what happened? What happened? Whose fault is it? It's men's fault, not mine, but men's fault. Do you agree, doctor? Are you as charming as you used to be? Are you the prince ready to meet your princess? What I'm saying is, men at the age of 40 years old, they should become a prince. Only prince deserves a princess, okay? So, here's our product. Here's our promotional product that's made of massage bar and foot cream and shower jelly and the shaving cream called Prince. Okay, definitely to give your wife a sweet kiss, you need to shave. And you're gonna need Prince, the shaving gel, the shaving foam. And most of all, our product that's called True Love and Honky Donkey and Far Land will bring your princess back and take you to the journey of Far Land. This is it. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll target the offices in Gangnam because that's where all the metropolitan offices are, and we'll do a pop visit during lunchtime. And then we give the samples, small samples of the shaving cream and the shower jellies and the massage bar, and then we ask them, try it out. And secondly, we'll use viral marketing, but we'll target women for that because obviously women talk more and, they tend to inform their friends better. And we'll, with the products that we mentioned, we'll make a promotion of combination product like a gift box, with massage bars and foot cream, so you can enjoy it with the true love Fiona, Princess Fiona. Thank you.
Okay, judges, we would like to hear your comments on this presentation.
Well, I think it was really beautifully presented, and I loved the tone of your voices. But I'm still wondering, what was the most challenging aspect of your presentation?
Well, first of all, I think if I chose from like age 5 or 17, I've been through those age, I guess that age, but I am not 45 yet, plus I'm not a man. So I was trying to put myself into my like father's shoes. So that, shift of, perspective was a little challenging in the first place.
I'm just curious, Moonhee,
Yeah.
how would you evaluate your partner's presentation?
He was I like how he engaged in talking with the judges, because for me, I think I would be more nervous actually, like during the presentation, but then he was actually very brave to, jump in and ask questions. So it was very nice, nice of him, helpful.
Great to see a teamwork there. Great, thank you.
All right, that was the end of the presentation. Only one of the 3 teams will move on to compete in the next round, and the remaining 4 contenders will be reevaluated by our judges, and 2 of you are going home today. So which team will be safe from elimination? We'll announce the results in just a moment.
프레젠테이션이 생각보다 시간이 너무 빨리 간 거예요.
저지분들이 어떻게 보실지 모르겠어요. 자신 없어요, 지금은.
별로 떨리진 않아요. 네. 되면 좋겠다.
전체적으로 되게 마음에 든 건 아니지만 좋았어요.
디베이트 때 말을 딱 한 번 하고 말았는데 그게 아마 최고 감점의 요인이 되지 않을까.
저희는 이게 제일 나을 것
그래, 저도
All right, I have the result in my hands. Let me take a quick peek. This team was definitely creative. Well, the team that will move on to compete next week is team number 45. Congratulations.
Moonhee, Junghan, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moonhee, why do you think they chose you? There was 2 other presentations, but they chose you as number 1 to move on. Why?
Because Shrek is amazing.
Shrek is amazing. Oh, you know what? That is humility. She doesn't point to her, even her partner. She points to Shrek.
Yes.
That's great. Junghan, how about yourself? Why do you think they says, you know what, y'all's was the best presentation?
Because I met a nice partner, intellectual, and did I have my part?
Of course, you
All
asked
right.
questions.
I did. So we both did good. Well.
Congratulations.
Seung-seok, Jaeyeon, and Hee and Hyungyung, you guys are up for re-evaluation. Judges, please throw your questions at them.
I have a question, and my question goes to Seung-seok.
Yes, sir.
When our sales director Kim was firing off her criticisms,
Yes.
what was going in your mind in terms of what you're supposed to do in reaction to that, and also what your partner is supposed to do? What were your thoughts at that time?
I wasn't happy because they didn't like the presentation, but I just felt that I had to justify why our plan was designed that way, and at least tell them that what we were thinking. And I feel bad to Jay because I forgot to say something that was actually I was supposed to say. And if you allow me, could I say that just for her sake, not me? Yes, our plan was actually based on the theme of loyal customers and actually creating customers from their younger age to actually make them a potential and long-term customers. And that's why we wanted to have fun bathings and stuff, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, he mentioned that the guerrilla tactic idea is from Hyungyung, but how important was Lush philosophy to you while you preparing presentation?
Actually, I thought the Lush philosophy was center of it because we wanted to make it creative, something different, and also fun, cool, and enjoyable. So those are the things I tried to center on when coming up with the performance.
So your definition of lush philosophy is something fun, enjoyable, and all that. I think her definition of, or our definition of lush philosophy is something like being ethical, being green, environmentally friendly, animal friendly. And so let me rephrase her question again to you. When you were preparing your sales strategy, was any of these lush specific qualities matter? I mean, did it ever occur to you that you could blend these lush philosophy into your strategy?
Actually, I considered it because I remember the palm project where the customers had their green handprints on the window of the show window, and also go naked. I don't think they did it in Korea yet, but with nude aprons and all. So I thought, actually, that's how I came up with the aspect of performance, because I wanted to do something that the customer can also interact and something that will blend in with those campaigns where the sales associates go out and perform or do something and show the customers. So, but then honestly, I guess like I was actually focused on the past campaigns, but the environment aspect, I didn't think beyond the ingredients of the product.
All right, thank you, judges. Contenders will give you each 30 seconds to make your final defense and convince the judges why you should not be sent home. This is your last chance, so make the most out of it. We'll start with you, Seung-seok.
I want to be with you guys. I want to have fun. I want to, share my happiness and my positivity to our customers and also to my teammates or colleagues. So, and I'm really curious about the next mission, and I would love to be a part of it. So, please, I beg you, pick me.
I think this competition taught me a lot. So I would like to learn more and be part of it and be the person doing things, leading things. So I think I will be good because I really believe in what I'm doing and what I will be doing. Thank you.
Well, my very first part-time job back in college was Lush because I believed in working somewhere where I can believe in their ethics as well. And now, throughout my course of journey in life, I'm back here again, and I think I'm ready to be one of the happy people in Lush, and I'm not afraid of the next challenge. Thank you.
Well, I guess the aggressive side of me was too much today, and maybe that went against the happy people image, but I'm sure they'll come handy in someday. And philosophy, I thought I knew them already, but maybe I haven't really felt it in my heart yet, but I'm sure I can learn and I can feel that. So if I get to come back next week, I'll be more positive and less aggressive. So yeah, I want to be back next week.
All right, so we've heard from the contenders and the ball goes back to the judges. The judges will deliberate and decide who to keep and who to let go. We'll announce the results in just a moment.
문희한테 감사하고요.
오빠의 기바람?
현실적으로는 좀 위험한 것 같아요, 오늘.
잘 모르겠어요. 제가 원하는 인재가 아니라면 다른 사람에게 기회를 주는 게 더 맞는 일이고 저한테도 좋겠죠.
꼭 돼서 다음 미션이 뭔지 되게 궁금하거든요. 빨리 결과 나왔으면 좋겠는데.
All right, judges, please tell us the names of the contenders who will continue on with us.
Okay, the first surviving contender is Miss Kim Hee.
Kim Hee, you look a little relieved. Are you relieved, or you're like, oh no, it's a no-brainer, I'm going to be it?
No, I am relieved. I am relieved. Every single time there is a judgment, there's something that I have to learn, and every time I have to face that, it's nervous and nerve-wracking.
All right, judges, please announce the next survivor, please.
So the last survivor is So the last survivor is Han Seung-seok.
No.
Seung-seok, I have to say that's the first time that I've heard somebody go, woo, when they were chosen. Were you thinking your name was not going to be called, or were you pretty confident, no, I'm going to be called?
Actually, because last week I was the survivor, and again today I was the last 3, and I really thought I wouldn't be the one, but like you said, doctor is still a doctor, right? So I'm very happy. Thank you.
Jaeyeon. Jaeyeon, do you think this experience will help you break out of your shell a little bit?
Oh yes, now I feel more relaxed.
All right.
Hyun-kyung, what did you learn here? What are you going to take from you? And any parting words?
It's not really much of a disappointment of going home already, like not making it to final 2 or 3 even, but it's actually
Let's give Hyun-kyung another big round of applause. All right, the 4 surviving contenders are Jeonghwan, Moonhee, Hee, and Seung-seok. Congratulations. Now we have 2 male contenders and 2 female contenders who are moving on to compete next week. And next week, we're going to give them missions to accomplish. And this is where their personalities come out. So lots of tears and laughter, so don't miss out. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Again, I'm the last one to pass. Next week, I'll prepare myself better and make sure that I finish.
I feel closer to Lush happy people. So I learned a lot and I had a great time with other competitors.
Definitely fun, and I'm really looking forward to enjoy the next challenge.
Somebody greater than myself because of all the challenges that I had to do within a day. And I'm looking forward to more challenges for my next mission.
I'm fine. I'll be okay, and I'm still young, so yeah, I got a bright future ahead of me.
For sure, I'm gonna put my effort on it, and I'll be positive as a Lush people.